환영합니다. Welcome to K-Culture Dive, where we dive deeper into the heart of Korean culture with K-entertainment issues, AI culture news, and AI film festivals will be the topic of our K-Culture Issues segment today. And I'm your host, Kwon So-ah. Let's dive in. Joining me this Friday is our co-host Walter Lee. Hello, Walter. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday, So, and happy Friday to our viewers watching at home. Of course, I am Walter Lee here to co-host alongside So and also give you the latest in Korean entertainment news.
Let's kick off with K-Enter News then, Walter. So we're going to start off with an independent movie that was released in Korea back in 2025, but it looks like it's receiving quite the attention right now somewhere else.
Yes. So it started off great in 2025 and it's only getting bigger in 2026. So director Yoon Ga-eun's film, The Owner of the World, has been officially invited to the panorama section of the Beijing International Film Festival, which will take place from April 16th to also April 25th. Now, boosting expectations for the film's release in China. Festival organizers have told media that the movie delicately and powerfully portrays the inner lives of young girls through the director Yoon's distinctive and sensitive perspective. Now, the film follows Ju-in, an 18-year-old high school student played by Seo Soo-bin, who finds herself caught in both a personal and social conflict after refusing to join a petition campaign opposing the release of a convicted sex offender. Now, last year, the film earned both Roberto Rossellini Jury Award and the Audience Award in the Pingyao International Film Festival, while also receiving a strong rating of 9.0 in China's major review platform, Daobang.
And also, it received acclaim at the Toronto International Film Festival, where it premiered as well. So very excited to hear this independent movie is growing so big. And next, Walter, we have some exciting K-pop Demon Hunters news.
We do indeed. I think we were waiting for the official announcement, but according to media reports, Netflix has announced on Thursday that it has signed a multi-year exclusive animation writing and directing partnership with the film's co-directors Maggie Kang and also Chris Applehans. Now, while the officially confirmed plans of the sequel have not been disclosed, a release timeline, noting that the project is still actually more in the early stages of development rather than having a set date. Now, director Maggie Kang has expressed that as a Korean filmmaker, she feels immense pride that audiences around the world want to see more stories and characters rooted in Korean culture. Now, in January, K-pop Demon Hunters won Best Animated Feature and Best Original Song at the Golden Globe Awards, a massive award ceremony, as well as Best Animated Feature and Best Song at the Critics' Choice Awards, again massive. In February, it won Best Song Written for Visual Media at the Grammy Awards. Could it get any bigger? Well, of course it can. It has also been nominated for 2 Oscars, with the ceremony set to take place not too long from now, March 15th, so I'm sure we will have news on that as soon as possible.
Right, we will be keeping an eye on the sequel as well as the Academy Awards, so I hope we have some good news to report on. You're probably going to do that, Walter.
I probably am. I think I'll be on there.
All right, and last but not least, a reunion is coming soon. Who is it?
Yes, a big reunion. Girl group IOI is set to reunite for the first time in 9 years with a special Asia tour celebrating the 10th anniversary of their debut. Now, according to Swing Entertainment on Thursday, the group will launch their Asia tour called Loop with a 3-day concert in Seoul from May 29th to the 31st. Now, the tour will then continue to other major Asian cities. Now, the agency said the upcoming shows will mark the first time that all the members will perform together on stage since the group's 2017 concert, Time Slip IOI. The event is expected to be a long-awaited reunion for fans who have been hoping to see the group together once again. Now, the tour title Loop actually reflects the idea that IOI's story, which once seemed to have ended, is beginning again, symbolizing both a reunion and fans and a fresh new chapter for the group.
Now, Walter, some of our viewers might be wondering why IOI was only active for around a year. It's because they were on an audition program called Produce One-on-One.
Very big.
So it was a temporary project where these girls got together for the group and then returned to their own agencies as well as their own activities. So I think it's really great to see them back like this in almost 10 years.
And I'm sure we will cover that as soon as it comes around as well.
Of course. All right, thank you very much, Walter, for those updates.
No worries.
And time now to turn to our AI culture news with Arirang. Arirang, take it away.
Thanks, Sua. Here's your AI guide to the latest cultural headlines from Korea. Let's begin with our top story. The Culture Ministry is ramping up the crackdown on ticket scalping in the performance and sports sectors, in line with government policy to stabilize prices and ease the financial burden on consumers. During an interministerial price management task force meeting on Thursday, the ministry vowed to significantly strengthen the role of a ticket scalping reporting center run by related agencies. Reports of illegal ticket resales will be promptly shared with ticketing platforms, while monitoring measures will also be boosted to respond to increasingly sophisticated scalping methods. Earlier this month, the government launched a public-private consultative body involving some 20 institutions to combat ticket scalping. Director of hit film The King's Warden Kang Hang-jun handed out free coffee in downtown Seoul on Thursday, celebrating the film's surpassing of the 10 million admissions milestone. Around 200 spots for fans to receive coffee directly from the director were filled an hour before the event began, while large crowds gathered in the surrounding area, highlighting the movie's explosive popularity. Released on February 4th, the film has drawn over 12 million viewers, becoming the 20th movie in Korean box office history to surpass the 12 million mark. Director Chang said he organized the coffee truck event as a gesture of appreciation to moviegoers, adding that he hopes the film's success will help revitalize slumping Korean film industry. Three of Korea's iconic events, the Boryong Mud Festival, Andong Mask Dance Festival, and Jinju Namgang Lantern Festival, have been designated as this year's global festivals. The Culture Ministry said it selected the three festivals as key tourism content aimed at helping achieve the government's goal of attracting 30 million inbound visitors. Each festival will receive 800 million won, or over $536,600 in annual support through 2028. The funding will be used to help develop strategies to attract foreign tourists, create new experiential programs tailored to international visitors, and expand promotional efforts. That's all from me. Turning now to a quick look at more K-culture stories making headlines today.
As wellness culture continues to grow in popularity, more Koreans are turning to traditional healing practices. Moxibustion and rice enzyme spas are emerging as unique experiential wellness spaces. Jo Young-eun takes us inside this experience.
Opening the door, a slightly smoky herb scent of mugwort fills the air. The shop specializes in traditional Korean Moxibustion therapy, which uses heat and smoke of burning mugwort. Customers lie on treatment beds, relaxing as the heated mugwort is first placed beneath their feet. The therapy continues with fumigation treatment along the back before mechanical Moxibustion devices are set on the stomach to deliver steady warmth.
My hands and feet tend to get cold, and I often feel tired. I heard mugwort Moxibustion is good for your health, so I looked for a place near my home and decided to try it.
Nearby, a rice enzyme spa, once mainly enjoyed by older generations, now offers another popular wellness experience for younger visitors. Here, people bury themselves in warm fermented rice bran, leaving only their faces exposed. The heat generated from fermentation is believed to help detoxify the body, improve blood circulation, and strengthen the immunity system.
In the past, most visitors were older people. But these days, many younger customers are coming too, after seeing it on social media or YouTube.
Spaces like this are redefining traditional therapy as a modern healing experience to recharge both the body and mind. Experts say the trend reflects how the digitally native generation treat traditional wellness practices as shareable experiences.
Nowadays, when people see something on social media that's said to be good for their health, they want to try it themselves. Experience-based consumption has become a major trend.
The relatively affordable price of these activities has helped them emerge as a cost-effective wellness experience. As younger generations explore new ways to care for their health, traditional health practices are finding new life in Korea today. 조영은, Arirang News.
Posters fill every alley. Lines form at ticket booths. A place where the curtain rises 365 days a year. Welcome to Daehak-ro, often called Seoul's Broadway. But here's an interesting twist. Daehak-ro literally means University Street. So why is Korea's theater capital called that? The answer takes us back 100 years to the founding of Gyeongsang Imperial University, Korea's first modern university built during the Japanese colonial period. With the only campus on this road, people naturally began calling it Daehak-ro, the University Street. After liberation, Gyeongsang University became Seoul National University, one of Korea's most prestigious institutions. The street was officially named Daehak-ro in 1966, but ironically, it was left without a university when Seoul National University relocated to its Gwanak campus. Then, artists stepped in. Not skyscrapers, but small theaters with big dreams filled the vacant streets. Daehak-ro was reborn as a street filled with romance, imagination, and live performance. In 1981, today's Arco Arts Theater opened, and theaters quickly gathered around it. Soon, Daehak-ro became the heart of Korea's performing arts. Many stars you now recognize from K-contents like Parasite and Squid Game first stood on these stages. Of course, the street faced its share of hardships. During the long shadow of the COVID-19 pandemic, many small theaters had to close. Yet the lights never truly went out. Passionate artists kept the streets alive with energy and creativity. And even now, the curtain is rising, waiting for you. Why not spend an unforgettable night at a theater in historic Daehak-ro?
As AI-generated films continue to emerge, AI film festivals are now being held around the world. Most recently, Seoul hosted its own AI film festival. Today, we'll explore how AI is transforming the filmmaking process and what these changes could mean for the future of cinema. For that, we're joined by Jae So, professor and filmmaker at Seoul Institute of the Arts. So welcome back, Professor So.
Hello, Professor.
Nice to be here.
So really, it looks like AI seems to be conquering all kinds of fields. I mean, we just earlier had our AI anchor Arirang and also a short film, an AI short film just before our segment. And now we're talking about AI film festivals. And one was held in Seoul just recently. It's the World AI Film Festival, Seoul 2026. I don't know if in short we could call it WIFE, WAIFF. But tell us more about this event and what's unique about it?
Yeah, this festival was founded in Nice, France, and basically it's traveled around the world and finally it's come to Korea. Of course, Korea being the hub for technology and K-pop. And so the World AI Film Festival, WIFE, basically held it last week at the Lotte Concert Hall. And it showcased how artificial intelligence now is all part of the filmmaking process. And basically, we've had something like over 2,000 submissions of works. And basically, the film festival is a sort of a celebration of AI in terms of not replacing humans, but using or assisting as a tool. And so it's kind of a, there are a lot of booms now with different AI film festivals, but I think this is one of the bigger ones that has happened. And so far, it's generated a lot of hype. The government, of course, really interested in AI was also present at the festival. And it was the final day was sort of like they had a conference about AI in filmmaking, and so it brought together just regular audiences, people interested in AI, tech companies. So it was a pretty, colorful event, especially with AI on the rise right now. Yeah.
Right, and how are these AI films being evaluated? I mean, what is sort of the criteria for this?
Yeah, I was really curious about that too. Like, would an AI film festival have AI as the judge? But no, they actually had human judges. And basically, the way this festival has made the criteria is like how AI technology was used. So it's got the regular sort of like festival guidelines like other ones where, they talk about how the film was, like completed, if the story was really good. So you have all that criterion, but again, you have to use AI. And the rules are like you have to use at least 3 types of AI, with one of the AI being, a visual image generating AI to be, included in that. So there's actually 6 categories ranging from traditional short films to micro series, and also things designed for the vertical mobile screen, and commercials for fictitious products. So basically, there have been a lot of films, it's sort of more short format, but I want to introduce to you the grand prize winner. It's a short film called Known and Unknown. It's about 7 minutes. Director is Kim Yoon-kyung. And basically, it's an AI short film that explores human choice and complicity through the silence and hidden desires of a village surrounding a mysterious door. And I saw clips of it, and it's an animation, and it had kind of a paper mache type of texture to it, so I thought that was really interesting. And another film that was kind of standoutish here was it won the I guess one of the excellent film categories. And in this one, it's by Im Dae-young. It's called Losing, and it's about a mother who has an emotional sort of tension from losing a loved one. And this had live action with sort of surrealistic imagery, and I found it to be kind of very poetic, and the colors and everything was very fantastic. And my favorite one was the award-winning Encouragement Award was presented to this movie called The Dog, the Octopus, and Me. And it's a film that depicts the unusual coexistence between a human, a dog, and an octopus that was about to be cooked. So it's kind of humorous, and it's almost like an animation you would expect, AI to be generating. So that's the one I really like the most.
Sounds very creative.
I mean, I wouldn't expect AI to be in dramas. I thought it would be all sci-fi, all those action movies, but to be in dramas is quite fascinating.
Dramas,
Right.
action movies, comedies. It's starting to really branch out. Yeah, for sure.
And Professor Sool, you mentioned something very interesting before. You said the judges were all humans. But do you think that sometime in the future, AI could actually become the judges of these AI films?
Yeah, I mean, that's sort of, if you think of an AI film festival, you think you're talking to a machine. Sort of like in baseball now, they use the ABS system to call strikes and balls. But I think, you could do that for sports, but I think for art or filmmaking, it's impossible. So, I mean, an AI judge could maybe talk about sort of the trend, or like basically, use the algorithm to try to figure out if this is like commercially viable or things like that. But I think you still need human judges to sort of really see if it's artistically, up to spec, and also having sort of a human touch to it is still really important. So this year, the head of the jury is this gentleman named Song Sang-hyun, who is the CEO of Westworld, which is one of the biggest, VFX CG companies in Korea. And there's a gentleman named Nelson Shin, who's an animation director. And then one of the highlights here was director Jang Han-jun from King's Warden, which is like a huge hit in Korea. He was one of the judges. So, and I wanted to also mention an honorary judge was Gong Li, the famous Chinese actress. So yeah, it was human judges, and their criteria is basically like how AI was used to enhance basically filmmaking. That was sort of like their criterion.
Right.
Yeah.
Quite interesting. And these days, we're seeing more cases where people without formal film training create the AI and even win awards. I mean, you see it on social media, and now you see it within movies. It seems to almost be very easy to do. Some are even talking about the rise of multi-career AI film directors. How do you see this trend exactly?
Well, I mean, it's definitely brought filmmaking into a kind of a more democracy. I think before it was a very high bar. You have to go to film school or learn the trades, learn how the technical parts of it works. But now I think with these tools, you're able to sort of do something without using a camera even. You know, so it does kind of bring up the sort of accessibility of filmmaking techniques to a new level so that it's much more accessible for a lot of people. So I think that's what's interesting. But at the same time, I think, you know, what's more interesting is that, as you mentioned, the multi-career track, which is so, I would imagine somebody who's a computer programmer that decides, like, I'm going to make an AI film, and suddenly, you know, he has one, or sort of a musician or a sound designer suddenly doing this stuff. So we're bringing more kind of different disciplines into the process of making this film. But at the same time, you know, I teach filmmaking. That's my profession. So I don't think I'm worried about, you know, in competition with AI, because after, I think for a while, I think, you know, everybody's going to be excited about this technology, but there may be a point in the future where people want to see movies that was made by hand, analog. You know, I have students now even shooting on film, celluloid, because they're kind of attracted to sort of like the process of analog. So I think it's a trend. I think human beings need human warmth, and I think, you know, we'll see how AI sort of fits into all this for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I also see people trending back to also film, as in photography as well. So that vintage, well, it's weird to say vintage when it's really not that old, is, you know, probably going to come back eventually, but we'll have to wait and see. But with AI film festivals expanding both in scale and also participation, way larger than I thought it would be, what kind of changes do you think this trend signals for the film industry exactly?
I think the film industry is already using AI in many ways, but I think there's going to be sort of a rise in hybrid filmmaking. So it's basically more sort of like, as I was talking about before, people not in the film industry sort of partaking in that. And I remember there was a famous director, Francis Ford Coppola, who directed The Godfather. In the end of a documentary that his wife was making, he said something about when digital technology was coming out and, you know, everybody was using phones. He said, there's going to be some girl in Ohio that's going to make this amazing film. And I think now with this, there's going to be some, you know, unknown person that will actually be able to show something that nobody's ever thought of, you know. So I think the industry has a way of absorbing innovation. And so I think AI is something, you know, just as much as, like, you know, I was talking about analog before, and at a certain point, everybody's doing digital. And, you know, I was one of the professors that said, hey, we should embrace digital. And I remember my film students didn't like me for a while because they all wanted to make movies with film. But I said, we can't hide from this, and this is going to be, you know, a digital thing. And now my students today, they don't even think about it, you know, so it became sort of the norm after a while. So I think, you know, hopefully that's what's going to happen with AI as well.
Professor So, if you were to incorporate AI into your filmmaking process, how would you use it?
I'm already doing it. You know, basically, I use it mostly in the pre-production part of it. So, you know, right now I'm writing 2 scripts. One of them is a horror film. And I'm using AI basically to come up with a concept art for it, storyboarding, and also I'm going to develop a trailer based on sort of the images that I kind of work with AI for it. And so, in a way, you know, when I go to an investor or to a production company to pitch my idea, before it was just them reading, you know, text on paper, but I can actually show them a trailer now, basically showing sort of like what it would be like, and maybe they'll invest in my movie based on that trailer. So it's definitely a kind of a new tool. And what I love about AI is the speed of it. It's done so fast. The things that would have taken, you know, weeks is done in basically, you know, hours. So I'm really starting to use it also for film writing as well. You know, I don't use it to ask the guy, you know, the AI machine to actually write the script for me, but I would organize the ideas. It helps me to sort of like incorporate some of the brainstorming things that it does. So it's kind of like a friend, sort of like I guess the ghost writer next to me, making sure that I have every grammatical mistake, you know, fixed.
Right. We're probably going to talk more about AI in the coming months. And yeah, we'll see whether AI could even become its own film category or not. But for now, thank you very much, Professor So, for your insights, and have a great weekend.
Thank you, Professor.
Thank you.
And thank you, Walter, as always. We're going to have you back here next week.
See you next week.
Thanks for watching and for your interest in everything K-Culture. K-Culture Dive will be back on Monday, 2 p.m. Korea time. Have a culture-filled weekend and keep diving.